notified about our latest videos. For this list, we're looking at some of the biggest and most popular trends being predicted by industry insiders for the 2022 travel year. Number 10. Zero friction travel. We're not talking about escaping Earth's gravity with a trip to space. That might be a current travel trend, but only for a select few of the world's wealthiest business magnates. Zero friction travel refers to the experience of making travel plans where there are little to no decisions to make or problems to solve in the moment. Not only do you check all the usual boxes ahead of time like flights and lodging, but you also arrange your excursions, dinner, reservations, transportation, and all other little details in advance. This also includes any additional bureaucracy resulting from COVID precautions. In a resort setting, you can even do away with payments during your stay. Ideally, the planning is done by a travel agent or online service to minimize the stress of the experience every step of the way. If you're working on a budget, however, you can always book your own low-friction trip by planning ahead. Number 9. Private home rental. Many people are embracing every available opportunity to return to normal post-COVID, but there's a significant chunk of the global population that seems to be enjoying the personal space that they found during the pandemic. Across 2020 and 2021 bookings for short-term rentals on sites like Airbnb and Vrbo skyrocketed. They show no signs of slowing down. Rather than return to crowded beach destinations and holiday resorts, travelers are booking private villas and country homes to vacation on their own terms. Such arrangements offer greater privacy, personal space, and individual control over the nature of the stay. While this sort of travel comes at the expense of fewer amenities and hospitality-type services, travelers never need to worry about getting a seats by the pool. Plus, when pooling resources with friends or family, you can actually treat yourself to more than jury's accommodations. Number 8. Personal growth travel. Travel is often an escape. It's an opportunity to forget about all the pressures and burdens of home life, work, and daily responsibilities. A chance to just have a bit of fun. 2020 and 2021 were years of major upheaval in the lives of many, however, and with big changes often comes the desire to push even further. Those forced into new jobs or living situations had discovered previously unknown aspects of themselves. Heading into 2022, there's a trend towards transformational travel that through external stimulation aims to encourage internal reflection. There has always been a market for this sort of travel, but now more than ever people seem to be aware that unconventional environments and experiences can reveal things about themselves that they never knew. From major retreats and sweat lodges to physically demanding wilderness adventures, there's a whole world of opportunities for self-discovery. Number 7. Foodie trips. After spending over a year cooped up at home, most people are ready to take a very long break from cooking for themselves, even those who found their inner 5-star chef. Sure, delivery was godsend, but we're guessing that you've exhausted most of the local options by now. It's not about you're abroad in search of the next green bites. Foodie travel is by no means a new trend. Many travelers have been letting their taste buds through the trip planning for years. The pandemic, however, created an unprecedented hunger for exotic flavors and unique dining experiences that not even the most cosmopolitan of cities can deliver. We expect people to be flexing their foodie curiosity at all levels, from street food tours to the most acclaimed restaurants around the globe. Plus, the pandemic in the service industry especially hard. Restaurants the world over neither love right now. Number 6. Wellness travel. In the last 2 years, workplace burnout has reached an all-time high. Those who were forced to pivot to a work-from-home model saw the lines between their professional and personal blur. Those whose professions were deemed an essential service continue to go into work, but under much more trying conditions. Even our personal lives got more difficult. In short, heading into 2022, everyone is overdue for some much-needed rest and relaxation, whether it takes the form of sun and sand, a quiet mountain retreat, or an extended spa stay. Travelers are prioritizing travel designed to recharge. At the top of the list of most powerful wellness travel is the opportunity to really unplug. Whether it be an explicit wellness trip or not, that's one thing we definitely recommend for all upcoming travel plans. Give yourself permission to disconnect. Delete Slack from your phone, turn off your work email notifications, and let your brain rest. Number 5. Meeting friends abroad. In this increasingly globalized and interconnected world, friend groups are more geographically dispersed than ever before. The friends who you hold nearest and dearest from high school, university, or an old job could very well all be living in different countries. Zoom calls and FaceTime certainly went up in 2020 and 2021, making it so that many of those remote friendships feel closer and more connected than ever before. In celebration of easing travel restrictions, many people are planning reunions with their friends from abroad in their own little slice of paradise. While going to visit someone in the city that they call home is an option, there's an added layer where everyone involved has the opportunity to disconnect from work and the real world with a proper vacation. This equally applies to family reunions for those who've spent time apart. Number 4. Staycations. We know what you're thinking. How could anyone possibly want to spend more time at home after all the lockdowns and hours spent working from home? But the pandemic was a financially tough time for many, and the budget for travel simply isn't there. Others might be afraid of snap lockdowns or sudden travel restrictions upon reaching their destination. For a whole slew of reasons, some people just feel that a staycation is the right choice. Of course, the staycation doesn't necessarily mean staying in your home. Many would-be travelers are booking rooms at hotels in their own city and trying to approach home from the perspective of a tourist. Excursions, tours tasting menus, local sites, and cultural attractions, you'll be surprised at everything your city has to offer when you approach it with new eyes. Number 3. Pet travel. The pet industry is estimated at approximately $232 billion as of 2021. Over the last 2 years, people have been competing to get a furry friend of their own as demand for companions said well beyond normal levels, and you can believe that the bonds formed between humans and their fur babies during the pandemic run deep. In recent years, many of the major airlines and hotel chains have introduced pet-friendly options due to overwhelming demand. In 2022, pet travel seems poised to reach a fever pitch with pet-friendly amenities like drinking fountains and dedicated patches of grass appearing at many major airports. Consider this, over 2 million packed steak domestic flights each year in the UK alone. Number 2. Bucket list travel. No more ifs and buts. After having to cancel trips in 2020 and 2021, many of us have discovered a newfound appreciation for travel, not only in terms of how rewarding such experiences can be, but for the fact that, contrary to previous popular belief, it can be taken away in an instance like global events. We all have that big bucket list trip that we've been putting off for years. It's usually pretty costly, takes a fair amount of planning, and will most likely we thought all your vacation days for the year, if not pushing you into the red. But it's worth it, and according to Kayak, this is exactly what 1 out of 5 travelers intend to do post-pandemic. This desire to finally take that bucket list trip is a great way to channel all that pent-up wanderlust following what was for many people the most restrictive period of their Apple lives. After all, the hard work and personal sacrifice travelers deserve the trip of a lifetime. Number 1. Returning to old favorites. In recent years, there's been a big shift in traveler priorities towards authenticity and unique experiences, and that remains true for many travelers. But after weathering so much uncertainty and unknown variables over the last couple of years, there's also an emerging desire to travel somewhere familiar. People planning their first big trip post-pandemic are gravitating toward destinations that they've already visited and know they love. It's a safe introduction to the concept of travel for anyone who is still feeling a bit nervous about going abroad. Knowing what to expect takes much of the stress out of travel. For those who've had an especially difficult last couple of years, a trip down memory lane makes for a nostalgic reminder of just how simple and easy things can be, and really travel should feel good. Do you agree with our picks? Check out these other videos for great travel destinations, and be sure to subscribe and click the bell to be notified about our latest videos.